What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, Episode 2, Meet the New Boss. What can I say? What can I say? There's a reason the show is my favorite show. Because it's freaking awesome. And there are many reasons why. Now, that's not saying that this is a perfect show. Not gonna say that, but there's a lot of good stuff in it. You know, like just stuff that I really enjoy. And honestly, like it's really hard to find a lot of criticism with it. You know, like most shows you can look at moments and be like, you know, that was kind of dumb, or you know, that was I don't know if I really like that. Or with this show, for some reason, everything that I'm seeing, I'm just like, yeah, that was good. Like there's so much. First of all, if we finally find out all of this stuff is actually tying together. You know, like everything going on right now, it's all tied together. I honestly thought after the first episode, I thought it was going to be kind of a two-story season. You know, you have the story of Shield and what's going on there, all the stuff that they're trying to do, trying to stop, like you know, trying to get Daisy back, all that. You got that going on, and I thought it was going to be Daisy and Robbie, the Ghost Rider, kind of doing their own thing, you know, stopping their people or whatever. I thought it was going to be kind of separate, like they're doing their thing and they're doing their thing, and it was going to be a little bit separate, maybe tie together at the end. No, they've already tied it together. In 2 episodes, you know, most seasons will take forever to tie stories like this together and be like, you know, oh, so this is completely separate, this is completely separate. By the end of the season, it's like, oh, it's finally all come together. Like you thought you were just watching two separate stories. No, it's all one. And you're just like, oh, that's cool. I wish it didn't feel so separate. This one's just like, no, you thought it was going to be separate. You thought none of this was going to tie together. No, it all ties together. Here you go. You don't even have to wait for that reveal. Here you go. In the second episode. And most people would be like, well, save that reveal. No, I don't. I knew it was going to tie together because, wow, it's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You know, like, the story is about S.H.I.E.L.D. and Daisy. Like, Daisy's kind of the main character. So to have a season where she's not involved in anything, she's doing her own thing, wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for the story, you know, for the writers to do that. So I knew it was going to tie together somehow. The fact that they've already just gone ahead and said, you know what, we know you know that, so we're not even going to try to pretend. You know, here, it's all tied together. Most of it involves, you know, Robbie and whatever's going on at that company. And we'll probably get a bit more of an explanation next time, but yeah, I like it. I really like what they're doing so far. And I really hope that I'm not being biased here, you know, because all the action is awesome. You know, it always feels awesome just to watch. It's one of the few shows that the action, for the most part, feels realistic. You know, like the fight scenes do. Obviously, some of the stuff with the Inhumans and the Ghost Rider, okay, that's not real. Obviously. But the fighting scenes are really, really well done. You know, like, I still remember some of the fighting scenes from Season 2 because they were that memorable. Like the one-shot scene with Daisy. There are a lot of fight scenes with May and Daisy and, you know, some of the Inhumans that we were being introduced to. A lot of really good stuff. We have some more here. We got Daisy. Obviously the quick powers weren't realistic, but she uses them to get onto the top of the car and like try to hold on. And Robbie's just like, oh, Ghost Rider powers, and knocks her off with the flames. We've got May freaking out. She takes on her entire class, and it's just like, do they stand a chance? No, they don't. Very, very simply put, nobody stands a chance against May. But, you know, all these fighting scenes are just so well done and so enjoyable to watch. And that's one of the many reasons why I love the show. The other thing is, the story itself is very intriguing. Because they've introduced, you know, they introduced a lot in the first episode, and it's just like, okay, so we're setting all of these stories up for this season, what's going to happen. They've explained quite a bit without giving everything away. I love that. It's very well done. It keeps some mystery involved, so it's not like, oh, here's this and here's this and here's this. No, who's the ghost person? Well, we find out a bit more about him. We're still not finding out everything about them. You know, like the woman that we saw, it turns out she is kind of a ghost. She was being trapped inside that box. When they opened it, it released her. Whenever she touches people, they go crazy, like May did in this episode, and like those other guys did. She goes to this place and finds more boxes with more people just like her in it, and we find out that there may be some witchcraft stuff going on. That was talked about. I may have mentioned this in the last review. I can't remember if I did or not, but one of the articles that I read leading up into this season was that some people were saying maybe Ghost Rider might not be good for the show because of a lot of it, even the alien stuff, they've kind of made it feel realistic. You know, they made it very scientific. Like the alien stuff, it can be explained. This stuff starts to sound very, first of all, you got Ghost Rider, who is a character who sold his soul to the devil, and he even says that without really saying it. I've already sold my soul. Maybe they will have an explanation that's not the devil is real. Who knows? But, like, it may be realistic, but it doesn't feel like it. And now you've got ghosts that may have been trapped by witchcraft. There's no science to explain that. So the question is this going to be based in scientific is it going to be sci-fi or is it going to be mystical? Who knows? But at the same time, when you think about it, what's the next Marvel movie coming out? Doctor Strange. A mystical character. I'm not obviously Captain America. Woo! I don't really know a lot about the comics, so I've heard a lot about Doctor Strange. I finally learned more about him by studying a little bit. I know he's one of the few Marvel characters that can actually use magic. There's not really a good way to explain that scientifically. So it kind of makes you wonder, is this more tie-in to the Marvel movies in that some more mystical stuff is starting to happen? We had a lot of alien stuff, we had a lot of scientific stuff. Is this more now mystical stuff? Now we've got witchcraft, now we've got Ghost Rider who sells his soul to the devil. It does raise a lot of questions, and I'm curious to see how they're going to explain all of this. If there is going to be an explanation at all, or if they're going to kind of leave it where Simmons is just scratching her head and really pissed off and going, no, this isn't right. I need to know an explanation. Either way, it's going to be enjoyable, but that's just, the ghosts are one thing that they've done a good job of giving us more information. Still don't know everything I need to know. We learned a bit more about Robbie in this one. Learn kind of what makes him tick, what doesn't. The one issue that I have is with him right now, and that's only because last episode it sounded like it was kind of like a split personality thing where one is Robbie and then Ghost Rider takes over and he has no control. This one sounds like in this episode it sounds like he does have control over it. I wish they'd explain that a bit better because does he have control? Does he not? I need to know. It's one of those things. They need to keep it consistent. It doesn't need to be he's the one that decides whether you live or die. I'm just kidding. It was me. Please explain. Which one is it really? So that was one issue I had, and also, is he able to use his powers whenever? Because I don't know if that's how it went in the comics. I didn't read the comics, but I kind of remember the movie, and he could only become Ghost Rider at night. Is this Ghost Rider different? Another thing they need to touch on, because if he can use his powers whenever, they need to explain why, or why not. There's just something else to talk about. But we learned a bit more about Robbie. We learned why he's doing what he's doing. He even tells us a bit about Daisy, that she is looking to be punished. She is looking to be killed in all of this. And it's kind of, I talked about that in the last episode. Like, is she kind of on a suicide mission right now? Like, what's going through her head? And some of it has to do with Lincoln. Okay, I'm glad we're finally learning a bit about this. It's not just something that was said and then never explained, a throwaway thing. This is actually good character building that they are giving to us in a pretty good way. It's not all dialogue and explanation. Good. I like that. I'm glad they're not just giving it to us blandly. It's in a good setup, and it's in a good situation where he's got her tied up and he's trying to figure out whether or not she deserves to die. All this is really good stuff, and the way they're handling it is good too. So that's awesome. The stuff going on at S.H.I.E.L.D. is really good too. We finally meet the director, and I got to admit, not at all what I was expecting. Like, based on the first episode, everything Simmons was talking about, the new, like, the new rules that were put in place, I was fully expecting there to be some, like, harsh whiplash on Coulson. He's going to be, Coulson, I can't believe you did that. Kind of like made me think like J.K. Simmons' version of, what's his name? Parker! I can't remember now. Why do I draw a blank at the worst times? Like, seriously. I feel like an idiot right now. Whatever. I was expecting that. I was expecting it to be this harsh director, doesn't take any shit, just play by the rules or you don't play at all. Coulson gets in there and he's just like, you impressed me, Coulson. He's all smiles. He's just like, I'm impressed. And he's like, wait, you're impressed? He's like, yeah. And then she leaves, and he starts talking to him about, we need to get Daisy in check, all of this stuff. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, this guy is not at all the stickler that I was expecting him to be. And yet he is, kind of, at moments. I really do like this new director. First of all, we learn in this episode that he's an Inhuman. Cool. That's awesome. You've got an Inhuman as your director. Very clever reveal. Like, he comes in, and he's just like, I'm sorry, May. And she just, like, first of all, I'm like, is he about to, like, use the icer on her? What is he doing? And she turns to hit him, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And she just, like, hits him in the stomach and doesn't even flinch. And she, like, tries to hit him again, tries to hit him with a pole, he, like, catches it. And she's like, you need to stop. And I'm like, what? And then we find out he's an Inhuman. So that was awesome. And we find out why he's the director, which we still don't really know everything that happened yet between, these 6 months that they still have not explained. But basically, at the end of this episode, we find out that Coulson didn't want to be the new face of S.H.I.E.L.D. whenever it finally gets revealed to the public that S.H.I.E.L.D. still exists. But he wanted somebody in charge that was a superpowered person that the people could trust, because Captain America has gone AWOL at this point. So this is the guy that they gave them. This is the face that is going to be the new face of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's an Inhuman, somebody that people can trust. That's interesting. Once again, given to us in a scenario that makes sense. It's not just, let me give you some explanation right now. That's purely exposition. No, it's in a conversation way. I like it. It's very well done. I hope they explain a bit more in detail about what caused Coulson to say, I don't want to be in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. And, they still have a lot to explain. Like, why is Daisy gone? Why all these strict procedures? And, they still have left enough unexplained that they have enough story for the rest of the season. That's good. But yeah, I really like what they're doing right now with S.H.I.E.L.D. It feels like it actually is setting up to be like the old S.H.I.E.L.D. without being like the old S.H.I.E.L.D. Like the old S.H.I.E.L.D., it felt like you weren't really sure whether or not they were a good group or a bad group. Like at times it was like, yeah, they're clearly good. But then there are other times where it's like, okay, that's shady. They're sacrificing the lives of people. That's not right. This one, it feels like, yeah, there are some sketchy things, but it feels like it's for protection purposes. Like not telling Coulson about May, while as a viewer who likes the show and likes the team, Coulson, May, Daisy, Fitzsimmons, all of them, the original team, I want Coulson to find out about May, but at the same time, I understand that, yeah, Coulson can't be objective when it comes to May or Daisy, so it makes sense why this director is doing what he does. It's not unreasonable, it's not evil, it makes a lot of sense. And I feel like I hope they stay with that. I hope it doesn't like come out later that oh no he's totally evil, because I feel like that would just be we've seen it before type thing. But anyway, long story short, I do like what they're doing with Shield. The stuff with May is exciting but also scary. You know, she's still suffering from the ghost touching her, and by the end of this, you know, after the director knocks her out, he takes her. She was shown on a plane like in a straitjacket, like freaking out in a like, heading somewhere, and I don't know what's going on with her. I'm kind of scared for her because can't lose May. May is a badass. Do not kill May off. I'd be very pissed. Um, but yeah, they've got a lot of good stuff going on, a lot of good stories that they're setting up too. So it feels like 2 episodes in, I feel like I can already say that this season's going to be good. It already is very exciting. It's already got my attention with a lot of, you know, a lot of the stuff that they've done, a lot of the action they've had, the story that they've got going so far. I'm so excited for this season. And, you know, even the previews for next week look awesome. You've got a city or a global blackout, according to the title. That's going to be exciting. But they've got a ton of stuff set up for next week, and I can't wait. So excited. I guess the other thing that I do need to talk about, they have a scene where Daisy tracks down Ghost Rider after he tracks down Fitz and Mac, which Mac has his shotgun axe. It's stupid but so badass at the same time. I don't know what else to say about it. But anyway, they go to this place where you know they heard all of this stuff was going on. They get in there, the ghosts are there. One of the ghosts has set the reactor to blow. Then he pushes Mac inside of this thing and closes the door, so Mac's trapped inside. And it looks like he's about to touch Fist, and it's like, oh crap! Ghost Rider shows up, burns his soul. I'm like, holy crap, that was awesome! Daisy shows up though, tracking down Ghost Rider, and helps Mac get out. Fitz shuts down the reactor. They let Ghost Rider go. Then they have a talk with Daisy afterwards. This talk was really good because Mac finally figures out about Yo-Yo in this. And you can see he's so pissed off. And normally Fitz is one that's just kind of sitting off to the side like, you know, okay. You know, not really going to say anything. But you can see how fed up he is with all of it. You know, like they finally had the team together last season. You know, stuff happened, but they finally had the team together again. And then she up and leaves. You can see how frustrated he is, and I love what he said. It's like, yeah, stuff has happened. We're all dealing with stuff right now. It's like, but we've never turned our backs on each other, and you know, she had turned her back on them. You can see how frustrated he is with it, and I love just the emotion and the connection that these characters have are so good. Like you can see how much it hurts Mac that his former partner is like just doesn't trust him. You know, his former partner is turned on him. You can see the frustration on Fitz's face as he sees that he wants people to be able to just trust each other. He wants the team to be able to lean on each other. He doesn't like it when people are just like, oh, whatever, you know, like I'm hurting, so I'm just gonna leave all of you. No, in Fitz's mind, that's wrong. You know, he doesn't agree with that. He thinks that they should all lean on each other. You can see how much it frustrates him, and the emotion is all there, and the acting is just so spot on. I don't know how else to say that I love this show. You know, it's so good. But yeah, overall, really good episode. Really enjoyed what I'm seeing. Really excited for next week, or well, 2 weeks from now, unfortunately. But they've got a lot of good stuff set up. The season's going to be awesome. I hope I'm not being totally biased right now, but let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? What are your guys' opinions? You know, let me know. Let me discuss it with people, because nobody else I know watches Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, and I don't know why, because I feel like it's such a good show. I want to know why people aren't watching it or are still watching it. Let me know down in the comments so we can discuss it. Leave a like and subscribe for future Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.